Hello and welcome to this video. My name is Ayman Hattab. I'm a developer evangelist at Middle East and Africa Center of Expertise. This video is a part of Visual Studio 2012 Application Lifecycle Management Hands-on Labs provided by Microsoft. This video is about building the right software, generating storyboards, and collecting stakeholder feedback with Visual Studio 2012, and it's brought to you by MIA ALM community. For the rest of the videos, please refer to www.handsonvisualstudio.com. To deliver what your customers really want, it's critical to precisely capture and communicate their intent. For today's rich and interactive experiences, test documents might not be the best way to ensure that everyone involved in the software delivery cycles understands the customer's vision and aims out of this software in the same way. If you have been involved in any software projects, then you have certainly been involved in a project in which you have been working for months and months building something that the customer asked for but not necessarily what they wanted. This of course leads to a lot of rework, delayed delivery, depressed customer, and an overrunning project. In this lab you will learn how Visual Studio 2012 will make it possible to avoid these situations by rapidly storyboarding or mocking up your requirements, as well as getting rich and actionable feedback from the users of your software, which can help shape what you are delivering. In order to complete this lab, you will need to download the Visual Studio 2012 virtual machine provided by Microsoft. You can get it from this link. In this video, we have two exercises. The first one is Introduction to Storyboarding, and the second one is Eliciting Feedback with the Microsoft Feedback Manager. So let's start with exercise 1. In this exercise, you will learn how to use the PowerPoint storyboarding add-in to create application storyboards. This will be accomplished by examining an existing storyboard file and by adding additional storyboard slides to address an additional user story. So let's start our virtual machine. Let's log in as Annie. I'll enter the password. Click OK. Now let's get started by locating the existing storyboard to examine it. Let's go to TFS Fabricam project portal. Click on Shared Documents. Click on this file. This is a storyboard file. Click Enable Editing. These storyboard slides show how the new PowerPoint storyboarding add-in can be used to mock up UI for web and mobile applications. You can take advantage of slide masters and the different slide layouts to create reusable templates that are set up for your application. So now let's click on the layout from the new storyboarding tab. Let's click on the layout. Here we have 6 slide masters, and each one has different slide layouts. So here we have one for web browser, here we have an empty one for Windows applications, one for Windows Phone 7 applications, another one for Windows Phone 7 with hands, as you can see here, and here we have the standard one. You can of course create your own, or you can edit the existing ones by clicking on the edit layout. Here we have all the slide masters and the slide layouts. Here's the slide master. Here are different layouts within the slide master. I'm going to close the master view and click on the slideshow. Now click Start Slideshow from the beginning, or just press F5 key. The storyboard provides the look and feel for certain parts of the web application and Windows Phone 7 app, while animations are used to show the user interactions. Let's go through it. Here the service representative is adding a new customer. Then he's navigating to the dashboard to see all the tickets assigned to him and their status, while the customer is logging in through the external portal to see the status of all the tickets that he has opened. Now the service representative is using the Windows Phone app, entering his credentials, the username and the password, checking his schedule for the full day, opening one item or one customer visit. Here are some details about this customer visit. We need to go to the customer's houseboat and set up a whole new box. He's notifying the customers that he will be a little bit late and updating his location through Bing Maps. Now the customer is notified that the technician will arrive around 1:30 to 2 p.m. and he's notified of his current location. Now let's create some additional storyboards for the Fabric and Fiber intranet, where employees interface with the customer data and service tickets. Let's delete all the slides so that we can focus on our new story. Delete. And now from the storyboarding tab, let's create a new slide based on the _default template. Here we can experience the value of the slide masters and the slide layouts. Everything you see here is provided by the slide master. The entire Chrome of the web application is there, helping you to keep all the slides consistent. Note that the slide master includes some placeholders like the web title, the web page title and the URL. You can edit them on a slide-by-slide basis or in the slide master, and this will reflect in all the slides belonging to this slide master. Let's modify the web title here and give it the dashboard name, since this page is intended to show a roll-up of all the tickets, alerts, messages and other company-wide information. To speed things up here, I'm gonna refer to the finished app and do a little bit of cheating by copying some UI elements. Let's open IE, create a new tab, click on FF Intranet Portal. Of course, this is not the normal scenario, since storyboards should precede the implementation. Again, we are doing this to speed things up. Now let's create both the dashboard, this text, this label, and the create new button. Let's go back to PowerPoint and start adding those shapes and text boxes. Let's start with the dashboard label. Click insert text box, type dashboard, make it a little bit bigger, bolder, and give it the gray color, and let's move it to the top to be aligned with the profile label. Now we created this one. Let's simulate the create new button. I'll be using here the storyboarding tab. We have one of the main features called storyboard shapes. Click on it. Now we have lots of storyboard shapes: Windows app icons, Windows phone icons, Windows phone backgrounds, annotations, and this is extensible, by the way, so you can borrow some shapes from your friend or from your colleague and import it to this library. Let's search for the button, drag it to your slide, select the text, make it a little bit bigger, make it bolder. Let's switch to the format tab, fill the shape with the orange color and fill the text with the white color. Type create new, make it a little bit bigger, and move it to the top a little bit. Now our button looks cool, and I might need to reuse it later when creating other storyboards. So from here I'll add it to my shapes, give it a name, fabric and button, for example. You can also export it to give it a friend or a colleague by clicking here, export my shapes, and they can import it using import shapes button. Now let's cheat again and take a screenshot from the finished app and add it to our slides. Let's go to IE. This is the part that I want to clip. Back to the PowerPoint from the storyboarding tab, screenshot, screen clipping. Let's take this part. Resize it in PowerPoint, move it a little bit, okay, it looks good now. So what if a user reaches the dashboard and wants to see the details about a ticket that has been open for a long time without being resolved? From IE, just click on one ticket to go to the ticket details. This is the scenario that we want to simulate. Switch back to PowerPoint, the storyboarding tab, click new slide, the default layout, and let's do more cheating by opening a ready and finished file and copying some shapes and photos from the IE, the shared documents. Here we have the finished one. Opening PowerPoint might take some time. Click enable editing. Let's copy the part that you are interested in. Control C, and in our original one, Control V. Now it looks nice. Let's add some animations to represent the application flow using hyperlinks. Click hyperlink, place in the document slide 2, and OK. F5. When you click on this, you are navigated to the second slide. Now I'll make use of the PowerPoint animations to improve the presentation of the storyboards. But before this, let's search for the mouse. Drag this shape to the first slide, make it a little bit bigger. From the animation, the custom path, then let's draw the path. F5 again, and here is our custom path, and when you click here you are taken to the second slide. Cool. Let's save this back to SharePoint by pressing save. It might take some time to be saved to SharePoint. Click save again from this warning, and here we go. At this point we are done with our storyboard and we need to link it back to a user story in TFS. From the storyboarding we have the storyboard links. Click link to, choose search now, title contains service ticket. Press find, and here we have two. Select the second one and click OK. Close and open IE. Click on the create a new tab and click on the TFS FF web access. Then click on product backlog. Here's our work item, double click it, and from the storyboards tab here we can find a link to the storyboard PowerPoint. Exercise 2. In this exercise, I'll walk you through a new client in Visual Studio 2012 called Microsoft Feedback Client. It enables you to capture feedback from all the stakeholders involved in your software project, like end users, product owners, and so on. The purpose of using this client is to ensure that all the customers and stakeholders are satisfied with the outcomes of your project, and that you are building what they have in mind and not what they asked for. Let's assume that we would like to get some feedback on the Fabric and Fiber intranet portal regarding the ability to edit customer records. Let's log in as Annie. Enter the password. Open the Internet Explorer. Click the TFS web access. From the activities group you can find request feedback. Click it. Select the stakeholder, Brian Keller, and the URL of the web application is http intranet.fabricam.com. Tell Brian to use Internet Explorer. Please use IE 9 or higher. And now let's tell Brian how to focus his feedback. What's in scope, what's out of scope, and so on. Please provide some feedback on the current customer records editing functionality. We can also add some additional instructions, like go to the intranet portal, click on the customer link, then edit any of the customers. We can also add more feedback items by clicking here XXX, then we can remove, of course. Let's preview. Here's the email that will be sent to Brian Keller. Now we can send it to Brian. Now we can find a notification here from the home screen of the web access. Unfortunately, the virtual machine you are using doesn't have a full email server. So let's simulate the scenario as if Brian is receiving an email from the Windows Explorer, desktop, computer, C, inetpub, mail route, the drop folder, and here is an email. Double click it. It will launch Outlook 2010. And here is the email that Brian should have received. Click on this link, start your feedback session. This will open Microsoft Feedback Client and will populate all the information in the feedback client. I'm gonna close the email message and this window. And here's the URL that Annie has provided while requesting the feedback, along with the instructions like please use IE9 or higher. I'm gonna click on the intranet.fabricam.com. The website is loading in the browser now. Click next to see the first feedback item. Annie is asking Brian to provide some feedback on the current customer records editing functionality, and she's giving some instructions like go to the intranet portal, click on customers, then edit any of the customers. Brian knows that the customer records contain phone numbers, and the users of the Fabric and Fiber intranet portal usually need to update those phone numbers for easier communication with the clients. However, Brian can find a text box for updating the phone number field. So Brian starts to add some feedback. We need to provide a way to update customer phone numbers. Then Brian can take a screenshot from the browser, and it's populated into the rich text editor. He can also double click on the photo or the picture. It opens in Paint. He can add some text boxes like where's the phone number. He highlights the text, make it bolder, make it red, then close the Paint, save, and now it's saved back. He can also record the screen with voice or screen only or voice only, or he can attach a file. Now Brian is done. He gives a rating for this feedback item, 4 out of 5. Then he clicks next. Then he can submit and close the feedback session. Now go back to the web access, scroll all the way down to see the feedback tile. Click it, and here is the feedback response. Please note that due to our workflow simulation, the feedback will be incorrectly titled. It should be feedback response from Brian Keller, but remember that we were logged as Annie when we were providing feedback, and that's why it is feedback response from Annie. Now double click the work item. Here's the feedback response. Click on all links, and you can see that the feedback response is automatically linked to the feedback request. I'm double click on the screenshot, click open, and it opens in the photo editor. And this concludes our second exercise. Thank you for watching this video. I hope it was informative. Please check the other videos at www.handsonvisualstudio.com.